Come on now. All right, there we go. Hello, everybody. Cheers. It's Thursday.
Cheers.
Lisa brought us our little mocktail.
It's a bramble.
This is a Bellini. What were we supposed to have?
a bramble.
A bramble.
Bramble.
So this is a Bellini for Rambling Thursday. So,
It's really good.
yeah.
Not real sweet.
So, it is Thursday, and we're rambling. I'm Sally, Laura, Barbara, and we're here at El Cajon So and Back. And in case you don't know, every Thursday we ramble on.
And you never know what we're going to
Yeah.
talk about. Or how long we're going to
Sometimes
talk
we
about
actually
it.
give you valuable information, so it may be worth listening to. So,
I love
and
the
you
preface.
laugh.
I love the
You laugh
preface.
at me.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I'm valuable. Occasionally. Very occasionally. I have to tell you a funny story.
My straw collapsed.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'll just have to drink it straight. No
Okay.
straw.
So yesterday, usually Laura's not here at night, but yesterday was software club for my SoNet, now the Creative 8 software, and so Jimmy and I left at the same time because I thought I rode with him, and we got out to the parking lot, and there was my car, and I said, did I drive? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like,
Well, because you normally drive
because
in
I normally
together
drive
on
in together on
Thursdays.
Thursdays. So I thought yesterday was Thursday, but evidently no, yesterday was Wednesday. Today's Thursday. So anyway, so you get to join us, and so that's how my week's been. So anyway, so Laura, what are we going to talk about first?
Oh, well, we're going to talk about a lot of fun things. Okay, so I have 3 things to talk about. We're going to talk about these quilt blocks that we made. This was the Mystery 50 quilt blocks, and everybody made a little block. So there's several different.
Just move the drink over to there.
Oh,
Well, it's actually a
don't
mini.
get rid of my
It's really a
drink.
mini quilt, not a quilt
Yes.
block.
Okay. Well, if you put a bunch of them together,
It'd be a quilt.
block. But
So
anyway,
it's Starlight is the name of the
it's the
quilt.
Starlight quilt, little 21-inch, little, but I mean 21 inches is the size of the block, and we have several of them. And so we were going to talk about how we are going to finish these. You could make it into a little table topper, or you could make it into a pillow, or you could make it into a little wall quilt. I mean, there's a number of things you can do with this beautiful block. Wow, whoever sewed that one did a great job.
That
It
was
is
Petlin Burst.
super flat. Man, flattest one of all of them. And this one too. Okay, so Barbara, why don't you share with us how you finished that one?
Okay, I didn't want to put binding on it because it lays flatter if you're going to have it on a table with no binding. So I did it like a pillowcase. You lay the batting down first. You put the back on it face up, right side up. You put the top on it right side down, so right sides are together.
Okay.
You sew all the way around it. I usually do 4 or 5 inches so I can get my hand in there and turn it inside out.
Okay.
Then you poke the corners out with, you could use a knitting needle, crochet needle. I have a harrow marker, I use that.
Right.
So you poke the corners out, get it down there, I iron it, and then you stitch all the way around it, and then I did stitch in the ditch in the
So
middle.
you did quilt the middle. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And you said you did put batting in it.
Yeah, there was batting in it.
Okay, but you didn't quilt it until you.
You didn't quilt it until you turn it.
Okay, gotcha.
It looks really nice.
It looks really, really nice.
You don't have to do it
Here,
that
let me-
much.
I'm gonna
'cause
go
it's
on
not
camera
gonna be
one
a-
so you can see it.
It's not
a
going to
little
be
better.
a bed quilt.
Move it a
So
little farther towards Laura so that they can see.
that's the back. I don't know if you could see any of the stitches because it blends
Oh, I
pretty
think
well.
so. It does blend very nicely. I mean, your thread choice is beautiful.
But it's easy to put together, then you don't have to do the binding.
Right, and so you just did,
Yeah, I did all the way around there. I don't know if I did around there. I think I did around there. Yes, it looks like I did around here too. I think
you got the
so.
little wings. Oh, and you got the border.
Yeah,
Yeah, that looks great.
'cause you don't want it to come undone or anything, so.
Right. And quilting helps when you throw it in the wash.
It keeps it there.
Keeps it together instead of getting all
Yeah.
weird.
It turned out really pretty.
Very nice. Okay.
It's one of my favorite blocks, I think.
Yeah.
My favorite color combinations, I mean.
Okay, I'm gonna show my example on this one, just so there's no confusion. And what I would do if I was making a mini quilt, I like to do facings. So we're going to pretend for a moment that, well, let's do a different pattern so that we don't get confused.
Let's do it on 3, I think, because it's
Okay.
a little tight on that
Okay.
camera. So switch to 3, and I'll
So-
zoom a little in.
All of my fabrics out here.
So
Wanna
move
pick
a little over
different
this
one?
way so that.
Okay. I'll hold those. Alright, so this is my quilt top. And to put a facing on this, I'm not there.
There. How's
Okay.
that for you?
That's good. So this is my quilt top, and to put a facing on it, I would put the backing. We're gonna pretend that this one is the backing. Alright, I'm gonna take a square of fabric. I'm gonna fold it corner to corner, and I'm gonna put it face up on each of my corners. So a square of fabric, fold it in half. The folded edge goes inside the quilt. The raw edges are on the outside. Then you take your binding, and you would have this folded in half, as wide as you want it. And you're gonna put your binding strip in here, just on the edge. But it's not gonna go all the way to the corner. It's gonna go a little bit short. But this corner is going to cover the entire end. Okay, so this corner covers the entire end of my binding. So this is just binding. I do that on all 4 sides, all 4 corners, and then you just flip it inside out, like so. I know it's hard to see, but it will come out like this, and you will have no raw edges because you've sewn it down 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and it's just gonna flip to the back and create a facing, so you have nothing showing on the top of your quilt.
Oh.
And the only negative thing for some people, I don't mind doing it on small projects, you do have to stitch the binding to the back by hand. You can't stitch it down by machine because it will show on the front.
Oh, there you go with that bad word in there.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, it is when you've got a trigger finger now that doesn't want to.
Well, that's true. So again, you put your quilt sandwich together like you would normally put a quilt sandwich together. You get it all quilted, and this is just how you would bind it. You would put the square of fabric on the front, your binding strip, again, folded in half, right sides together, not all the way to the end. And then when you flip it over, it's going to flip over clean, just like Barbara's did. You poke out the corners, then you hand stitch this to the back of the quilt, and it's going to just give you a nice, clean, invisible edge on the top. So,
Now, do the corners kind of stay open so you could put like a rod in there?
They can if
And
you don't
hang it up.
stitch them down, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can choose to leave that open. I mean, you have,
Yeah, and then when
it's
you
gonna
flip
be
it,
sewn on these sides.
but then you
but
flip
this
it,
pocket
that would be open,
is
so
gonna
you
be
could
open.
put a rod in there and hang it up.
Sure, absolutely. Or you could stitch it down if you wanted to, but yeah, you can leave it open and have a rod pocket, absolutely. Okay,
All right, and
this
then
is such a pretty block. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about.
how else would you bind it?
Well, you have your standard binding. You have the pillowcase binding, which Barbara did. Or I've also heard that called the envelope method.
Yeah,
Same thing.
pillowcase method.
Or just
whatever.
your regular traditional binding. But I think Barbara's right. If you're going to put it on a table, you'd want it to lie flat.
Just layer it.
Yeah.
And you get done sooner.
Yeah.
And I guess you could. Another thing I think you could do is make them into pillows.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I think they'd make really nice pillows.
They turned out really, really. I mean, I am. We had so much fun on
We did.
Saturday.
It's
I
like,
can't-
this looks like the popular color, is that one. Because there's 3 of them right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's 2 here and mine.
Well, we have more kits of those colors.
Right.
Yeah.
While they last.
Yep.
And we also now have the pattern.
Right. So we have the
Available for
pattern
purchase.
available for purchase if you
We'll get one.
prefer to just have a pattern and buy the pattern. If that's something that's more appealing to you.
Okay. So here is the pattern.
I'll go to 3.
Okay. When you get up close, you can see that she used green and blue here, so it doesn't show up real well on the camera. But that is this pattern. And depending on where
It's
you place
available
your
as a
fabrics,
PDF download, or we have it in the store if you want a printed copy.
Right.
Because we try and please everybody. 'Cause that's how we are.
Nope. I like
Anyway,
the printed copies.
I like
'cause
the
then,
printed copies
you know,
too.
the PDFs I may or may not
Plus,
get
I went to a
around
lot of work to turn it in, make it go into that little
You did.
thing. So
You did.
yeah,
You did a good job.
go for it. All right.
Okay.
So, all right,
Next.
going forward.
I want to talk about pressing tools.
Pressing. Is it something pressing?
It
Well,
is.
You
It's
might have
urgent.
wanted
It's
to press.
pressing.
You might want to press your block.
Oh, she moved my pillow. The stack of Batik solids.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's over there if you want to go get it. It's in the corner.
I might, because I need a nap.
You need a
Well,
nap. I was crazy by the time I was through on Saturday. And then we had FOF Club on Sunday?
Yeah.
Man.
But Saturday, making this mystery quilt, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a ton of fun. We had a lot of fun. And
Because I did it completely blind. I didn't have any advanced clues or any
Yeah,
help
I didn't.
or anything.
I didn't help her. She didn't pre-sew, and so she
Nope.
didn't already know what to do. She was just sewing blind, and she sewed every block live. You can go on if you join our Facebook group,
Yeah.
the Mystery 50 Facebook group. You can go and see Laura sew every single block.
You can even see my mistakes and
Yeah.
blunders. And learn what not to do.
And learn how to
I got it
how
all
to
done.
Well,
pull things out.
I for the border, for those half square triangles, yeah, I sewed 2 of them right and 2 of them wrong.
I had one. I sewed I sewed both rows right, but then I was so excited because I was so close to being done that I turned one of the rows upside down,
Yeah.
and so I had to unstitch.
Yeah, yeah. It was.
But we got
it
it
was a lot
done.
of fun. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It really was.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
So these are hot hemmers, and we have 4 different kinds. So this one is it's a what is it, 4x6, I think? 5x6. So 5x6, but it's got a little 2-inch notch out of here. And the notch will help you if you're making, like, what do they call that when you cut off the triangles for the pockets? There's a word for it.
I don't
Boxing
know.
the corners.
Yeah.
When you're boxing the corners, this will help you create the box. Although, you could do the same thing using the square ruler. It's just this way you're marking on the inside, here you're marking on the outside to box the corners. But the nice thing about this this template, is that it's got a curved edge. So if you have a pocket, especially like a shirt pocket, sometimes they'll have curved edges on them. You can hem it around this curved edge, no problem. Or the bowl cozies, plate cozies, those have curved edges. You can do that around here. The other corners are square. So, and I like them because they have the markings on them. Now this one is 4 inches by 14.5 inches. And let's see, that one is 3/8 of an inch. So it's got a dashed line, 5/8 of an inch. It's got a dashed line at 5/8 of an inch. And that's important because a lot of your garment patterns call for a 5/8 inch hem, and you can measure that with this to see if you're on target. And also, if you have a 5/8 inch hem, now you can fold it in half, and it kind of finishes it off itself. So, but you can see in the picture here what they do. You just line this along the edge of your fabric and then bring your fabric up to whatever hem distance you need.
Then press.
And press it. Now, we have that also in a smaller one. This is a 6x6 inch square. It does the exact same thing. It's great for getting square corners on a project like a quilt block or, am I frozen?
Oh, no.
Okay,
Sorry. Wait a
it's
minute.
okay.
It's
I'm
behind
just
them,
trying to monitor
so we
the
can bleep
poor.
you out. If you say something wrong,
I am
we
just
can
trying. I
bleep
was
you
just trying
out.
to tell if I was getting any comments on
Okay.
YouTube.
Well, but I do like the square one, and I like the 6x6 inch size because I can lay it on the corner of my quilt. I'm not going to use it as a trimming tool because this is made of a very stiff felt, and I don't want to take a rotary cutter next to it. But I can lay it up there, and I can
You can work it.
adjust my hem so I know that the binding corner is going to be square.
Yeah.
So I just press it, and it may be a little off, but I know it's going to be square when I square it up with my ruler. So there's that one. Then there's this one, and I've been looking at this one for a long time. This one is aluminum. And I was wondering, and it has a nice curved edge on the bottom, and it has different markings here for that curved hem. You also have, if you turn it over, you've got your straight edge here and your straight markings going up the side. So it's got a lot of versatility on it. My concern on this was since it's metal, it's going to get hot. But Barbara
It
brings
cools
up a
down
great
fast.
point.
Once the iron's off, it starts cooling.
Yeah, she says the heat from the metal surface helps to set that seam that you're putting in place, helps to set the hem, and she says it cools down very quickly, so you don't have to worry. By the time you've pressed this and set your iron aside, you could pick it up and move it to the next location. It doesn't retain the heat if the iron's not directly on it, so good
Yep.
product.
I bet I could burn my hand.
I don't want to put it to the test.
Yeah, if you really tried, you could.
Yeah. But I think this one would work out nice. I like the nice curve, gentle curve down here
Yeah.
on the bottom. That would be good for like circular skirts or, you know, anything where you have to curve
Did you see it also has the straight edge too?
It does.
On
'Cause
both sides.
This, yeah, you have a straight edge
Straight
on
edge
both
and the curved
sides.
side.
So you have the straight lines here. So when you bring up that curve, you're gonna be matching the curve to whichever line you're doing here. So see, it's got 2.5, 2.25, 2 inches, 1.5, 5/8, or 1/4. That's how big your fold is going to be, or how deep the fold is going to be, and you can line the curved edge along those lines. For the straight seam, you're going to line your edges up on the side here, 1 inch, 1.5, 1 5/8, wherever you want it to be, and you have those markings on both sides, so you just line it up all the way across and then press.
Although I'd prefer I think I'd rather have the
Have
hot
one of
hammer
these.
where I have the line all the way across.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, then you need 2.
Of course, I always have to have 2 of everything. That's why I have to have a FOF and a Viking.
Yeah.
Yaha. All right.
Okay, has anybody used these kind of hammering tools? What do you think?
What's your favorite?
Yeah. My favorite's this drink. I like it. It's
Yeah,
very
not-
refreshing.
It's not real
Yeah.
sweet.
And I squeezed my lime into it. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to thank Lisa we have
Thank
Lisa
you,
to
Lisa.
thank for that.
Yes, very nice.
Her previous life when she was a bartender in college.
Oh, nice.
She remembers that far back. That's good.
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Yeah, there was a big building I used to go to. Yeah, I remember that. Now this is a little bit different. It is a seaming tool, but not
It seems to be a
hemming
tool.
Yes, it seems to be the right tool. It says seems right, so you know, that's what it's called. Oops. You see that? It says seems right. Okay. What this does is this has on the edges, like here is a little nub, and that little nub is 1/4 of an inch from the base to the tip. Then this one from the base to the tip is 5/8. Okay, both sides of that are 5/8. This one from this little tip to this tip, 1/2 inch. From this tip to that tip, 1/2 inch. From this tip to this tip, 3/4 of an inch. And I can't see what this
Yeah, I
last one
couldn't
is.
see the last one is. But the slot down there is so you can measure your buttons.
Oh, that's clever. Buttonhole. Okay,
For
nice.
measuring your buttons so you know what size buttonhole to make.
Very clever. I didn't see that. Yeah, this is just a, sometimes you sew a seam and you want to know, is it the right width, but you don't want to take it out of the machine.
Yeah, you can just put that on
you
there.
can just lay this on there and it'll tell you what size that seam is. So it has 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and 5/8. And look at this. Okay, the space in between these two is 5/8. The space in between here is 1 inch and 1/8. The space in between here is 1/4. The space in between these two is hard to read, but probably looks like about 1.5 inches. So there are more markings on here to help you get everything lined up just so. I just can't see the rest of
Well,
them.
you may as well
Turn it over and see if it has
Does
it on the
tell you?
back.
Okay, let's see. A handy tool for marking and checking seam allowances. A slot for marking buttonholes. Ideal for ironing creases. And perfect for pocket corners. Note from Nancy. I don't have a lot of time to sew or quilt, yet when I do, I like to have convenient and yes, clever notions close at hand. The Seams Right gauge is just that type of notion. It's a compact unit that is my frequent reference. I know you'll enjoy it too. And that's all it says.
Okay, so it doesn't give you the sizes then.
No. But I can see where it would be very helpful.
Well, and
in
it
a lot
has
of
all the
things.
measurements that you use,
Right,
Yeah.
especially if you're sewing garments and things like that.
yeah.
I don't know if we can get it open. We can probably get it open and be close if we can.
Yeah, because since it's been a while since I've sewn garments, because I used to didn't have to measure it, I just know what 5/8 looks like.
I need to start sewing some garments again. Oh. Is it last call, honey?
Something like that.
Here, you can go under camera 1.
Okay. That's probably good enough.
Here.
Okay.
Camera 1.
All right.
You're far forward. Ah!
One way to do
Are
it.
you
just-
guys done?
No,
almost.
You're not
We're-
done yet?
Well,
we
we're
haven't
still
talked about the
talking.
iron cleaner either. Yeah.
Okay. So these.
I moved it a
these
little.
signs-
Wait, hold on a second. Why is it? It's auto.
People. I don't know why I wanted it that way.
There you go. Okay, it's auto focusing, so it should be good. All right, now you can read it.
And it's upside down.
Perfect.
So what is this one?
Okay, so this one is 1 inch. Between this one and that one is 7/8 of an inch. This is 3/8 of an inch. Between this and that is 1.5 inches. And between this one and that one, I don't have a number. I have a dashed line, but I have no number.
Maybe you're not supposed to use that.
Oh, you know what?
That's because it's
It's-
the buttons thing.
It must be 1 inch because it's the same size as the buttonholes, but that looks like an awfully big inch. Nope, I guess not. Did you know the distance between your first and second knuckles on your index finger is roughly 1 inch?
Roughly.
So, okay. So this has this is
Between
your,
what?
between your first and second knuckle on your index finger.
That.
Yeah.
Mine's 1.25 inches.
Okay. Well, you.
Almost 1 3/8 inches.
Okay,
Roughly.
Roughly.
but look at mine. It's 1 inch.
1 1/8 inches.
Yeah.
Don't be telling a quilter that's an inch. Come on, they're gonna laugh you out of the room.
Roughly.
Oh, and plus,
Roughly.
It's somewhere
Plus-
between 1/2 and 4 inches. Okay, that's rough.
and were you talking about having Ripley borders or something like that? No wonder you have Ripley borders.
I don't measure them with my finger.
Oh.
No, but I like that because you can
Now you're
actually
trying to.
see in between the
Cosby.
distance there,
You can't see
and you
it.
can see. Okay,
There you go.
so you can clearly see the distance here. If I wanted to measure,
What are those things called, honey?
Seems right.
No.
Wonder
Remember
what thing's called.
who's Barna made one of
oh,
those?
look at this.
A
That is an inch and a half.
Fificus.
Yeah, Fificus.
What is it?
That's just a modern Fificus.
We still have Fificus. They're around here.
I
some-
think multiple is Fifici. The
Well,
plural is
there's
Fifici.
some Fifici out there if you want to go find one.
This reminds me.
Go fetch a Fifici. Or a
No.
Fificus.
It would be a Fificus.
Okay, so this reminds me, you know, there's another seam tool, not nearly as detailed as this one. It's just like 4 prongs. And you
So
have a
steady.
quarter, a half.
So Steady has one
No,
of those.
yeah, but that's different.
Yeah, that's different. So Steady
No, but I
has
mean, they
something
make
like that.
one flat like this that
Oh.
looks like that.
That I haven't
They
seen.
make one flat like this that looks like Seriously?
Yes.
Well, that's cool.
Well, because the So Steady one is not flat like
No.
this.
No, and it's fat. It's thick.
fat.
It's used for a
fat,
totally
not
different purpose,
flat.
but it's kind of like that.
Okay, we're rambling. It's okay.
And there's no alcohol in these.
We have no excuse.
Honestly.
We're just wild and crazy.
There you go. Try those.
So now I want to talk about iron cleaners. All right. we've got two here. Hold on, I'm getting there. Oop. No, I just touched the top of this. What happened?
She touched it off. She turned it
Nope,
off.
there
Oh,
it is.
There it is.
Okay, so we've got the Faultless Hot Iron Cleaner and the Beau Nash Hot Iron Cleaner. I have used both of these, but I have used this type of product, the creamy one, with much greater success. But Sally really likes the Beau Nash Iron Cleaner. Barbara, what do you prefer?
I've used them both. It depends if you've gotten something on your iron and you didn't notice it, then to me the Faultless works a little better.
We'll see.
Because on the other one you have to press on it,
Yeah.
and sometimes my arm doesn't want to press hard enough.
Well, and the
find
other
that
thing
these-
too is if I'm trying to clean the
The press.
if I'm trying to clean the press,
Mm-hmm.
the
Here you go. A genuine Husqvarna Viking branded Pfifficus.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. See,
The odd thing is a Pfifficus is a German word. It's spelled with a P.
so there's a Pfifficus that I was talking
should
about,
have one of those
where
at
it's
home.
got 4 sides, and you've got a 1/4 inch. Well, it's very similar
Very
to the
similar,
other
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Here's your 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 5/8, 1 1/4, 3/4, 3/8, 3/8.
It just doesn't have the buttonhole thing.
Doesn't have the buttonhole thing. Doesn't
And
have
it's
quite as many
Bigger
measurements.
for us blind people to see it. The
Yeah.
seam's right.
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 So
And if you find one of those today, it's probably a collector's item, but we still have a few in stock.
and it's even called. Let's see if I can get this to where you can see it.
oh, that's got way too much noise behind it. Yeah, I can read it.
You read that?
It's a Pfifficus. I told you it was a Pfifficus.
Yeah.
Do you think I was just making that up?
3 F's in that word.
Yeah, like a foff, but
Like
a
a
fifth.
foff.
It's a it's a Pfifficus.
Oh,
You have
No,
to wrinkle your
foff is
face kind of like you're
PFAFF.
Uh-huh,
This
but
is
it's a
PFIFF. IKUS.
you have to
so.
wrinkle your face kind of like you're sneezing when you say Pfifficus.
Okay.
okay. Oh,
That's
Lordy.
kind of cool. All right.
The reason I like the iron cleaner is
This one?
because it's the sheets, and when I'm cleaning the press, you have to rub the press. So it's not that easy with the iron cleaner, like the creamy
Oh,
iron
yeah.
Like
cleaners to
this?
clean the iron press.
Okay.
So that's why I like the
Well,
that
what I
cleaner.
found is if I notice the sticky on my iron right away, everything works fine. I don't notice it right away.
Yeah, it
I
takes a
leave
while
it
to
on there
clean it.
until my iron just isn't moving anymore, and then I have to use this guy.
Yep.
Yeah, but you can get it off with the sheets also. You just have to work
Not
it.
More
as
elbow
patient.
grease.
Yeah.
Get the drill out and put it on there, and maybe that'll take it off.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be careful because if you have a non-stick
Yeah.
plate on the bottom of your
Yeah, you don't want to.
iron,
you don't wanna ruin
want to
it.
do that and ruin your iron. So that is a issue
Okay.
also. All right, well, I think that's all we have for you today.
It is.
Yep.
I know you're sad to say that. You guys are all grief-stricken.
Sarcasm is her middle name.
Okay, well, we'll figure out something else to talk about next week,
Unless
unless
you have any
you guys can possibly request something. But we do have some fabric that's be kind of cute for an apron, but we might wait for July because it's kind of Christmassy. But anyway.
Christmas in July, that'd be cute.
All right. Well, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you.
Yep.
And we come in and see us
There's lots of fabric to buy.
Oh, we've
yeah,
got
we
a
do
lot
have
of
a
cute
lot of stuff in the store
A lot of cute
and
stuff.
or online. So thanks for watching, and
Don't forget your physicals.
yeah.
Say
And
that
remember,
5 times fast.
these were mocktails. We were not really no
Yeah, they're
alcohol.
never gonna believe
I
it
know
after
you.
what
No, I
said
know.
also.
But we always act this way, so what can I
That's
tell
true.
you?
That's
Nothing
true.
unusual.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
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 At least none of us had the hiccups.